My dear viewers, beginning today is the official Alliteration Gaming Patreon and channel members. Throughout my Patreon, we've got quite a few tiers you can check out in order to gain special perks and even commission videos that you'd like to see me upload onto the channel. Every tier includes a shout out on my supporter card at the beginning of all of my videos, along with the benefits of the tier itself. Following that, you can now also join the Alliteration Nation by becoming a channel member on the YouTube side of things. Pledging your subscription here as a member of the channel is going to grant you the same shout out on my supporter card as all the Patreon tiers do, as well as access to the members only channel on my Discord. You'll gain a member badge that will level up as you stay subscribed and access to my exclusive emotes when I stream on YouTube. If you're interested in checking out the Patreon, I'm going to have the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below, as well as the link to my Discord should you want to join that as well. And if you want to become a channel member, the big, beautiful join button is front and center on my homepage right here. And if you do decide to support the channel in any way whatsoever, know that I am unimaginably grateful, and I can't wait to provide you with even more top-notch content at my trademark top speed. Now, let's get on to the video. Welcome, my dear viewers, to another Alliteration Gaming video. This time, we're going to be doing a build deck with one of my patrons, Ulysses, the true tactician themselves. We're going to be taking a look at an all Eraserhead 2 deck that's going to be utilizing the new Valiant Assault promo to really put the crazy amount of pressure on with the almighty focused attack. So let's get right into it and see how funny this punch really is. Ulysses, tell me about this all Eraserhead 2 deck.
So, I've always thought Eraserhead was a real character, and I think you just needed that little bit to get him there. And it's funny that what got him there was mid-attack tribal with basically no new cards except for Valiant Assault.
The almighty Valiant Assault. This this card is very, very real. When I first read this card, I'm reading it from like top to bottom, right? Okay, I'm like, okay, 4 diff, 2 high block, 3 mid for 4, combo E, draw 2. If it deals damage, what? And like, I kept looking down and I was like, there's gonna be a 2 at the bottom of this, right? And then there just wasn't.
So as an old head, I've been playing this game for 5 years, since Bebop, basically. This card has been reprinted several times. It has never seen play because punches in general never viable, but like punches on these symbols especially were not viable.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of what Tam told me as well. He basically said, yeah, this card didn't see a ton of play in Standard because punches were not that great, but punches in MHA? Nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's superhero anime fighting show. I mean,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, our protagonist, our two biggest characters are Midoriya and All Might, right? Punches are going to be pretty good in this game.
Right. So that's basically where it is. So I played a couple games with this deck, and so the things that have come to the conclusion of the reason why Eraserhead doesn't mind mid-tribal is that he already wants his stuff to be completely blocked to draw a card. So you take cards unexpected like Cat Punch, which realistically is not very good in most characters, right? It's a 2 mid-6 cantrip. But when you're Eraserhead, it's a first attack, and you play it as a first attack, it's a 3 mid-6. If you block it, I'll draw 2.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying.
Or you'll take 3 and I'll draw 1. Like, either way,
it's very good.
Yeah, either way, you're in a bad situation for interacting with my card.
Yeah. And
then you follow that up with Valiant Assault, a 3 mid 4, draw 2 cards, block it or don't, I'll draw a card, it's a 5 mid for 4. And then you follow that up with Focus Attack, hey, here's a 9 mid 12.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good place to be, man. As someone who's been playing a lot of all punches in general lately, not necessarily just Focused Attack, but Cat Punch into Valiant Assault has definitely got my neurons firing quite a lot.
Absolutely. So the main things that I'm kind of looking at is I think Hellflame Cross Punch is decent.
Yeah.
The main issue is that I don't have ways to pump damage.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think if we could turn this card on, it would be awesome. The main thing I do want to mention before we actually start going into changes is that if we go to our block zones, we're the all symbol, so there are not low blocks in our deck. So that is something that I want to keep in mind while we're making all of our changes. But as far as where we want to start, I do want to start with the attacks. I agree. Not a big fan of Hellflame in this deck. That was like the first thing that I was going to ask you about is like, do we put value on this card just as a vanilla mid attack that we get to pick up after we block with?
I think the pickup after you block is value in some ways with focus attack.
Right, because we have to have 3 moves, right?
Right. That being said, I don't think it is the 4 of 5 difficulty. I think it would be, if I were to swap what we have, it'd be plus ultra into Hellflame, but I'm also not super sold on plus ultra either.
Yeah, I think this card is okay. So my big issue with this card right now, stat-wise, it's hot. 5 mid for 5 is massive and cool and gaming. I mean, as far as unflipping goes, we have some okay targets. We've got Closing In, that's okay. Unflipping Destined is pretty stonks. Unflipping Chivalrous is pretty stonks. There's like some cool resource plays with this. And then as far as the response, I don't think that we have a momentum out in the deck right now. Yeah, I don't think we have a momentum out in the deck right now, except for like a celebrity status draw play, which is pretty valid.
Which also does combo into plus ultra smash itself.
This is true. This is true. So that's not bad. But I do think we could be doing a little bit better attack-wise. So first of all, the things that you've put in here, I see you have Sato 1 and Brutish Swagger in here. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
It's mostly, I was trying to make sure if I was sold on Eraserhead 1 versus a character like Sato. Because I think the main package here is just the all punches. Which character runs it better? And right now, I think it's Eraserhead. If I were to go with Sato, I would put 2 Brutish Swagger in, and sometimes my Valiant Assault just misses. But that's not quite the point, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm much more sold on like just the digging power of Valiant Assault as a card, which, yeah, I mean, I guess we could still just be doing the same thing on Sato even without the Swagger. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm pretty sold on Eraserhead for it as well. So for the other 2 attacks that I just want to take a little look at, I have Hardened Steel in here. Now, I don't think that this attack is very good, but the main thing that I want to look at here is it's a mid attack. It is a punch. It does pump damage, sometimes very relevantly, while we, as our character, pump speed, which is kind of nice. And probably most importantly, unfortunately, is it's a low block. And then the other attack I have in here is actually Hardened Crusher. Do you have any initial feeling? I feel like most people just don't even acknowledge this card's existence.
I thought about it. My main thing is that, like, the response is nice, but I honestly hate the enhance because I don't want to use the enhance, right? Mm-hmm. If it goes into my staging area, it's not coming out.
That's fair, but so my main thought process there is that, well, for one, it's a mid attack and it's a punch, so it's already like cool enough to be considered for our deck. But the cool thing about the enhance is that it basically it puts even more like pressure on our rival to, like, you know, lose either way when it comes to our attack. Right? Do you want to take 5 and let me build this down, or do you want to block it and let me draw cards?
So then the other question is that if it builds down and we need it for focus attack, so that's like, to me, the enhance just feels dead.
Joe, just because we can't like celebrity status and then draw it?
Not just because we can't celebrity status, but because if it goes down, it's not coming out of the stage, so we're permanently down 1 attack. If they take the damage, and like let's say we have 2 attacks, realistically, focus attack becomes a lot harder.
Oh, well, it builds down during the end phase, not right away.
Oh, it does say end phase. That's on me. I misread that.
No, it's okay. No, card would be kind of nuts if it built down right away. Holy cow. I mean, it would be worse in our deck, but like busted in the grand scheme of things.
Right. I misread it then.
Okay. Also, the card has Powerful 2, which is pretty cool. Yes. We just acknowledged that we don't have a momentum out in this deck. I'm personally, the track I'm feeling right now is trying out Hardened Crusher, and then if we go into our foundations and find ourselves still desiring low blocks, we can go back and maybe look at like a 2 of Hardened Steel somehow.
Yeah,
that's where my head's at right now.
I think I agree with that. I think if we were to take out Hellflame, put Crusher in at the 4 of, and then K plus Ultra as the 2 of, I think that's good because
I
like
like
overall
that.
I think overall my like my difficulty ratios are fine. It's higher on the 5 end, but it has to be because focus attack.
Yeah,
Is
it's
funny,
a
but you have
focused
to.
attack deck. Yeah, I mean, you only have so many 4-diff mid punches to play, right? So we kind of just have put ourselves in a position where, you know, sometimes we'll just have to go like on a 5, on a 6, on a 7,
Right.
and that's just fine. We'll build.
Yeah.
We're builders here.
Oh yeah.
So also like the existence of the Hardened Crusher's powerful in the deck makes the plus Ultra Smash a little bit better as well, because again now we have that momentum out, which is pretty cool. So I like that right now. And then like I said, I think if we still find ourselves like hardcore lacking in the low block area, we can look at Hardened Steel. But for now, let's pivot over to our foundations. Because that's where, honestly, this foundation lineup is really solid. The only issue is I think that we need to fit low blocks in somehow, because there's just 13 of them in our 60 card deck.
Right.
So as far as your zeros go, I love your zeros. The only thing I don't like about the zeros is that these are all high blocks. So I have Rooftop in here as like a possible alternative. But I would probably like to start somewhere else, because this card like doesn't really have text, and these zeros really have text.
Yeah.
So I guess like are there any foundations that you're just not loving right now lately as you've been playing it? High or mid block, doesn't really matter. We have pretty sizable numbers of either.
Main one is part of the point of the deck is why I have 4x constantly improving, is just to make my focus attack impossible to block.
Yeah, we have to have constantly improving on board to kill them with focus attack. It's the play. So I don't want that to go anywhere.
So that being said, that's my 3-diff slot. So like pull no punches, I think is fine in the sideboard type of deal. So I think that one is an easy cut.
That's what I'm thinking too. I don't imagine that you're going to deadlock super crazy, but the thing is, if you are, we have like the best deadlock in the game sitting on focused attack.
Right. I also like pull no punches for the enhance as well. It's just an easy abort if I need to. It's like sometimes I don't have focus attack, but I can still go into a neat string, so
Right.
It makes it easier sort of deal.
Yeah, I mean, we do have like a momentum out here and celebrity status plays, so we do still get a little bit of value out of that. But if we're trying to do a focus attack string, we can't really do it because it's going to clear our card pool too much and mess up our comp.
Right.
We get some value. I feel like we're just getting like half the value out of both of these abilities from this card inside of our deck.
So I think this will be like the sideboard, and even then is tenuous sideboard.
Yeah, unless your rival's just like super ready to go into deadlock and just like does not care about focus attack, which that's not going to be many rivals.
They're going to be dead before they realize that they messed up there.
Yeah. I think we just don't need that deadlock in our deck very much. So we've got a little bit of a 2 of leeway there now. Anything else that you're not crazy about?
I think I do cut 2 celebrity status. I think 2 is good because it synergize well with Destined. It does synergize well with my character, potentially if they block or cat punch or whatever. But ultimately, like, that is putting a lot of onus on my opponent or having Destined.
Yeah.
Or Here's Inspiration, I suppose. So it's like...
Yeah, I like it as like a, hey, when we draw these like 4 ofs in our deck, like Valiant and Destined, if our little celebrity status tech piece happens to be on board, we get to combo it up. But I never really, the thing is, right, about those comboing together is I'm okay to find the draw power or the Destined without the celebrity status. I'm not okay finding the celebrity status without the Destined or the draw power, right?
Pretty much.
So I'm cool with that being a little bit of a tech, a little bit of a 2 of tech right there. How do you feel about closing in?
It's just to make focus attack that much harder to block.
Okay.
That's all it's there for.
That's fair. I mean, I guess, yeah, it can also It can also pump Valiant Punch. That's not terrible. Yeah, we can leave it around for now. So we've got 4 slots to work with now. I do definitely. I'm pretty married to our 60 card number. I don't think I really want that going anywhere. we really want to draw this specific focus attack string, so I don't think that we want a super massive deck.
I agree. I think if we go too small, like with the amount of attacks that we have to run for the deck to work, I think it's just a little. I think 60 is a sweet spot.
Yeah, no, 18 attacks in 60, I like that a lot. Also, we have to play a little bit bigger than like 55 or so because we're trying to play actions, which we will get to later on because, man, the all symbol has some cool actions to play. But for now, we've got 4 foundation slots to roam around in. So let's start taking a look at what I've got. I've got, as far as low blocks go, To the Rescue, Daunting Message, and Rooftop, which I think are all really sweet tech pieces. And then I've got our Eraserhead 2 card itself in the Exhausted Exclamation.
So I did have, I believe I had it in the initial build, but I did try Exhausted Exclamation. It's fine. Like, my main thing is that, like, there are times where even I'm not even using Eraserhead's response because I'm waiting for, like, that choke point. Because I have a lot of... I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up, and I have that sort of Yu-Gi-Oh! Find that one choke point negate to really mess their turn, and that's kind of how I go in with Eraserhead, which may or may not be good or bad. So, like, having a draw that's exclusive to defense just kind of feels mid.
That's fair. We also just, like, have a ton of draw within our deck.
Right,
Like,
so...
he draws cards, Valiant is drawing 2, Destin sometimes draws 1, Chivalrous draws 1, Hero's Inspiration can draw 1 if need be. Yeah, I don't really think that we need it, to be honest. I think I'd much rather shove some of these really cool low blocks into our foundation line.
Right, and so I was looking at the low block because I'm just trying to go through all the foundations just to kind of give them their time. I think the one that I really think will be the best for the deck is Rooftop Vantage, and I know that we kind of just said it doesn't say anything, but I kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 0. I'm gonna be honest. When I build decks, I'm a total wuss. I don't like having less than 10 zeros in my decks. I just want to see that 0 turn 1 every time.
That's kind of where I'm at too, and I don't even think that's a wuss play. I think that's just a smart play. Like,
it can be.
I think that the few times where it's a risk is if you're like going against a character that can really abuse ready, get, set, go, but it's like, if you have it, you have it. Like, I'm not going to sacrifice my build for that.
No, never.
So when it comes to these cards, I'm looking at these and I say, To the Rescue is pretty good because I am playing mono punches, but at the same time, do I want to remove a ready foundation to seal a possible problem, or do I just want to go for Funny Punch?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends if they have like an out, right? When they're sitting over there with like stat resets and or massive speed reduction, things that are gonna make focus attack a lot less lethal. It is a very nice, piece that can just come in and save you sometimes. It's just a matter of like, do you feel like it's necessary in the main deck?
And to which I would say, if I'm not playing To the Rescue, I might just side in more Erase because it also says basically the same thing. It is a bit more flexible, you know? I'm already Eraserhead, I can use both effects, you know?
This is very true. So I think we can keep To the Rescue for a sideboard mindset. And how would you feel about 2 Rooftops, 2 Daunting Message in there?
I could be down. I think Daunting Message is mostly okay.
I think it's a very when I first read this card, I thought it was like nuts. Then I played it a lot and I was like, yeah, this is okay. This is okay.
Yeah, coming from Standard and Desperation City, like the if this were printed, then this would see no play. But like for what this format's trying to do, I think I like that they're both +2 low blocks. I like that I can either just plop them out if I need to, or I'll draw them later into the turn and say, this is actually kind of nice just to hold. I think the 2 low block is value, whereas the 3 low is kind of not so much.
That's the other thing that kind of keeps me off of To the Rescue as well. It's not as nice a block, and we already have a lot of +3 lows inside of the deck.
Right.
So getting some +2s in there feels super nice, and that just bumps up our zeros to some really nice, kind of like safety net territory numbers.
absolutely.
Is there anything else in the foundations that you feel isn't great? I think I like a lot of the other things going on here. Do you want? Can we put Specialist of Sound at 4? I think it's kind of crazy not to run that card at 4.
I could be down. We'd have to find one other thing to cut if you want to keep it. If we want to keep it at 60.
I think making Zoom a cute one of is the play here.
I would agree with that.
I love Zoom as a one of. If I see the one, it's cute. If I never see the one, it's cool. If I see 2, I'm sad.
Right.
And it's, it's the same +3 low block anyway, so it's not like, it's not breaking any ground. That puts us up to 17 lows and 19 highs, which I think is very, very attractive. Do you feel like anything else is lacking? I like these 2 ofs a lot. I don't mind the 2 closing in. I think it's a cool tech for a handful of our moves. Everything else feels pretty solid. Have you ever felt yourself wanting more copies of Snack Time, maybe?
Kind of, but also not really. Like, there was one point in one of my games where I got to, like, 10 cards in hand, didn't have Snack Time on board, and I'm like, if only I had Snack Time right here. But at the same time, like, that's kind of a Christmas Land scenario where I have 10 cards in my hand.
It can be, but at the same time, I think it's, probably pretty realistic for us to have, like, 6, 7, 8, and, if we're trying to go in, we're trying to go in. We just draw so many cards, man. I think like one of the craziest things that I think about Valiant Assault existing in this format is it just makes One with Nature and Snack Time like super duper crazy.
For sure. If I were to cut anything, I would probably cut one of the oh gosh, where is it? Here's Inspiration. Mm-hmm. Even though that's a low block, or I can go down to 1 celebrity status and kind of say it's pretty alright.
I think it's super okay at a 2 of. I mean, if we cut Hero's Inspiration, that would put us to 15 low blocks in a 60 card deck, which I don't think is terrible.
Well, I was just saying 1 of. I think I want that spicy one. I think I want that spicy 1 of just to get that check off and say, yeah.
I love it. Let's turn one of these Hero's Inspirations into a 3rd Snack Time.
Just say, yeah, you lost the 1 of, dude. How do you feel?
Bro, it lost the 1 ofs. I love it. So we're looking pretty healthy as far as that's concerned now. Man, let's talk about some assets. I've got a couple assets in here. I have USJ, which I think is pretty cool. I've got Tracking Device, which I also think is pretty cool because you can like stack your Valiant Assault draws if you're going to go into a line like that. But more importantly, I have the Almighty Class lineup in here. Have you ever played with this card, my friend?
So, your previous deck tech video, that's one of my locals. And I played him right before your video came up, but after he got the deck lineup, your tutorial basically, it made me very sad.
Well, I'm here to convert you all to the Class lineup master race. This card is crazy.
It's really good. Like, no matter what, it has a place. Like, there's so many Death, Evil, Void cards. A +2 mid block is nothing to sneeze at. Like, it's cards gross. It's
like really good. It's almost kind of a good thing that like set 3's characters aren't too globally crazy, because this card there's just like not a symbol that doesn't play something that this card hits, right?
Let me check. I'm pretty sure this deck even has one. Yeah, it has quite a few.
Yeah. I mean, every Eraser's cards are in a lot of decks. If you're fighting any Excited for Blood symbol deck, they're playing that card. Life, you're getting to hit Excited for Blood on it. If you're fighting any water deck, they're playing Struggling with Studies. They're playing Graceful Maneuvers. If you're fighting any Chaos deck, right, they're playing Struggling with Studies. They might be playing Graceful Maneuvers. Void Foundations are just everywhere. Eraserhead stuff, Ida stuff, calling for backup, super generic. Everything on a Heroic Lineage symbol plays Heroic Lineage. You're hitting that. Like this card's just nuts. I will not allow you to hang up unless at least one of these are in our deck.
I'm absolutely down. I'm already playing a set 3 character. Why not?
Exactly. It just must be done. It just must be done. And
It's so well statted too. Like
it's so good. If you draw an extra one, oh no, it's my +2 mid block. Oh no.
right? Oh, or even better, I tapped on my turn. Well, I'll just play it again and have a tap on your turn.
That's what makes it so crazy, is like you're gonna commit it on their turn every single time, and then when it comes back to you, if you're ready to go in, you get 2 commits out of it, which is just crazy on a 1/5. And you get to pick, like, bro, the fact that you get to pick is nuts. This card's crazy.
Yeah, it's a point commit. Like that's part of the reason why I think Daunting Message is just kind of mess, because you also have access to this card.
Yeah, Daunting is here because we need that sweet low block. Otherwise, oh my god, I'd be going crazy with the class lineups. And I suggest at least one more in your sideboard as well.
Absolutely, that's a guarantee.
Fantastic. So since we've settled on the class lineup, do you want to talk any more about USJ or tracking device?
I think USJ is neat. I think USJ is kind of a double-edged sword because, like, while I do have a lot of benefit from +2/+2, I don't have a lot of defense from there getting +2/+2. Yeah. I don't have a lot of stat reductions, and what I do would just make it net -1 for speed, which is not super great. So
yeah, also like Valiant Assault will be our second a lot of the time, and putting +2/+2 on this is just like not very valuable. It doesn't make it very threatening.
Right.
It's like a lot of commitment for them to just take 6.
And I don't really want it to be threatening. It's just like you either
you want that damage.
Well, it's like you either block the 5 mid for 4, and I get to draw a card, or you take 4, which is nothing for most characters, and I'll look at my top and see if I can super pass the funny punch.
Yeah. Which I think is super duper cute. So I'm not too worried about making Valiant Assault scary. All right, let's talk about these actions, my friend.
Yes.
I love Ruthless Mockery. I think this is one of the best just like generic actions that they have ever made. I think this card's very strong. I don't know that I'm really sold on the Erase in this deck, as opposed to something like Sugar Rush or Capture Evildoers.
I think for me, because I'm a Eraserhead too, and I get the ability to use both effects, I think it's never off the table. I think where we run into is, do I value, because no matter what is going into the sideboard, Erase is Erase. You keep Erase on the sideboard if you're a Eraserhead, right? So I guess the question is it worth siding into game 2 and 3 if I feel I need to, or do I want to mainboard it and side out for something a bit more aggressive, right?
I mean, Erase is like, yes, never dead. You can always find a use for it. But if we played something like Sugar Rush Power Up, I think Sugar Rush Power Up is always live as opposed to never dead, right? We can always find a use for one of them, but Sugar Rush will always have much more benefit, or rather be a lot more effective as to like, yeah, I can find an issue for Erase to solve here, you know?
So I actually kind of just a little bit disagree with the Sugar Rush never being dead, because this is very much a your turn card. Like the words on the card just says your turn, and it has a nice +1 high, but Erase has a +1 mid breaker one.
This is true. I mean, I think we have. Actually, do we have any plus? We have it can't be fixed. We have it can't be fixed as a +1 high. My main logic is that Erase can seal anything. Sugar Rush can flip a lot of things, and Sugar Rush is just going to be a lot more generically strong when it comes to closing out games. I mean, Sugar Rushing a focused attack is like, yeah, man, 11 mid for $1 million. Yeah. You just die.
Right, and I think there's validity in that, and I think what if I were to make a concession on anything, and it might be a little weird, I think Ruthless Mockery stays. I think this card has a lot of neat interaction with my character on defense because of the response. It also has the second enhance that goes really well with Easily Excited, and worst comes to worst, with how little damage pump I get in this deck, I give something 2 damage. Like, it could be worse.
I think Ruthless is really, really, really great. I like Ruthless a lot. So I guess it's a matter of, so like you've got the stat pump in Ruthless, right, and the tech in Erase. And do you want to maintain like that duality or swing more? Because like, we could go like full stats and play Ruthless Sugar Rush, right? We could go like a middle ground, or we could go like full tech, right, and play like Erase Sugar Rush, or we could kind of keep the duality that we have now, and then Capture Evildoers is also alternative tech.
So what I was thinking, because I think the concession that I would make is I would do 1 Erase, 1 Sugar Rush power up, keep one of each in the side, and then put 2 Capture Evildoers in the side, right? And there's that action heavy side, but I think like with this deck we're not changing much.
Yeah, I mean,
if we were to go inside,
is there anything else we'd want to be siding anyway? I mean, we should have more class lineups. We should probably have To the Rescues in our side, and that's kind of it.
And by that point already, like we would have 1 class lineup, we would have 1 Sugar Rush, 1 Erase. It's 3 cards already. 2 Capture Evildoers, so that's 5. 2 To the Rescue, 7. And like we could just fill in the 3 with another Sugar Rush, another Erase, and class lineup, or should we already say class lineup? Either way, like the sideboard is just an action sideboard.
I like
more
it.
So than anything else.
It's our spell book, man. It's our little spell book.
Right, and I like it too because it's just like like I said, the foundations in this deck are super solid. Like I can't think of changing anything.
No, yeah, I like them a lot too. I think we have like our answers for everything, more or less.
Yeah.
So with those changes, that brings our low blocks to 16. Are you okay with that number? Does that make you uncomfy?
No, the other deck that I'm running in the next set is my Davi 2 that I got some assistance from with another deck streamer, and that one has 17 low blocks in a 100 card deck. So,
Turn 2, baby.
And that's the thing, is that these are both turn 2 decks. Absolutely they are. Because I've killed people with Focus Attack on turn 2, because shockingly 9 speed, 12 damage is hard to interact with on.
Yeah, when you've only built for 1-2 turns most, yeah, you're just dead. All right, cool. Let's get this Hardened Steel out of here, because low blocks are cringe, and it looks like we have ourselves a very potent little Focus Attack deck here.
Absolutely. I think this. I love this deck.
And there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for this build a deck. Big thank you again to Elysian for doing this with me. I really appreciate the support. And if you want your own experience like this, you can check out my Patreon down below for the build a deck commission tier or any of my other tiers. There's a bunch of cool things, bunch of cool ways you can both interact and commission videos from me, and of course support my work in the process. And if you enjoyed this video and or even learned anything from it, I would appreciate some other support via the like button. And if you want more quality content like this, the subscribe button is what you want to hit. And if that doesn't quite do it for you, you can also hit the join button to become a channel member. It's going to support me even more and score you some sweet bonus perks like badges and emotes when I stream on YouTube. I'm going to have the links to all of this down in the description and in the pinned comment below, as well as a link to this deck list on UVS Ultra if you want to check it out for yourself. That's all the time I've got for today, though. Thanks so much just for making it to the end of this video, and hope I'll see you in the next one.